I love the direction of the team. I love the direction of the stock. That doesn't mean that the stock is at its all-time high right now. As a matter of fact, it's only going to get higher from here. Until that moment, there's going to be some bumps along the road. And those bumps along the road, I was called racist for the game against Colorado and my concerns going exactly the way the game went. What is up, everybody? It is Jake with Master Football back at it again. Happy Monday. Thank you so much for being here. If you want to be up to date on everything college football, pro football, Madden, EA college football, NFL draft, anything related to American football, hit that red subscribe button. You will not be disappointed. Also hit the like button too. And follow on Twitter/X. That fam is growing. Without further ado, let's get into the video. All right, what I want to do with this video, we're going to talk about Colorado. Well, first thing I want to do is I want to offer a welcome. A welcome to all the new college football fans out there. I can tell you are new in a lot of different ways. There's a couple things here, a couple of emotional reactions we're going to go over, but also because of just the sheer excitement generated from Coach Prime and what he's doing at Colorado. You can tell because of something like this. Here we are on SI.com talking about Colorado State was ESPN's 5th most watched college football game ever. Now think about this. Colorado State is not exactly known as a power in the Mountain West. They've been having some issues. They did what they could. They hired Jay Norvell over from Nevada. He comes over. He's trying to build up that program. But for the most part, Colorado State has kind of struggled. Colorado has struggled too. Think about this last season. Colorado State and Colorado, both of these teams, Colorado was 1-11 without Coach Prime, and Colorado State was not having a good season as well. But in the 10:30 Eastern Standard Time kickoff window, the worst one arguably for ratings, they got the 5th most watched college football game ever. It truly is a testament to what Coach Prime has been generating with his program and how much excitement he has. I love it. I absolutely, you go through my channel, you will find zillions of videos stating that I love it. As a matter of fact, I've got a couple clips here showing my appreciation, my receipts to show that I've been here on Colorado before many of you have.
If Deion has the ability to do what Deion does, he's only been coaching football for a couple of years here, but he's got such an ability to connect with players, and he knows he's worked with so many dudes in the NFL. He knows he can walk into anybody in their room with their mom and their dad in terms of recruiting. In the same way that Nick Saban I can get you to the NFL, Deion's going to say, I'm going to get you to the NFL. He's got just as much sway. All of a sudden, those Aflac commercials where they're like kind of joking, Deion and Nick Saban are going to be competing against each other in the recruiting portal. I'm telling you right now, he's going to be a problem, but he's bringing in 5 stars, 4 stars, top flight quarterbacks, receivers, edge rushers. He's got potentially 4 or 5 top 10 players in the country at their positions during their recruiting classes who are coming into Colorado Buffaloes. I'm telling you right now, he's savage, he's honest, a little bit ruthless, but it's needed because Colorado in 2022 was hot garbage.
So for those of you who don't believe me, those are my receipts there. I've been on Colorado before. A lot of you have. That being said, I wanted to make sure that last week I had a video where I articulated some of the concerns I had about this Colorado football team. Here's some of those receipts on what I said.
If you've been listening to me, I have loved every second of Colorado. I literally have money on them that with over under 3.5 wins. Dude, give me the over on that. I already put money on that. I have money riding on what Coach Deion Sanders is doing. That being said, they've got some real problems setting themselves in right now. They can't really run the ball. Their defensive line, their defensive depth, they give up a ton of yards on defense. They only really know how to win one way, which is Shedeur throwing them out of problems. And also, they talk too much trash. Every single game, people are going to try to bait them into a trash competition to get them out of the game. If they can address those 3 things, they've got a chance going forward. However, now they get into Pac-12 play. They're 3-0, non-conference. So shock the world, except for them. But now, at Oregon, USC at home, at Washington State, Utah.
Again, I've been talking about Colorado for months now. I love everything that they're doing. I love the direction of the team. I love the direction of the stock. That doesn't mean that the stock is at its all-time high right now. As a matter of fact, it's only going to get higher from here. Until that moment, there's going to be some bumps along the road. And those bumps along the road, I was called racist for the game against Colorado and my concerns going exactly the way the game went. So just the other day, Colorado versus Oregon. Oregon gets out to a 42-0 lead. And man, it wasn't even that close. Okay, 42-0 at one point at the end of the third quarter. It was 35-0 at the end of the first half. Bo Nix, again, people don't know about Bo Nix. Here's your introduction. Okay, played at Auburn. He's played something like 50 starts in college football. 28 for 33, 5 incomplete passes, 3 touchdowns, 276 passing. Had 1 interception. And Shedeur, you could tell the fact that Colorado just could not block Oregon's defensive line up front. Colorado's defense absolutely just got gashed. They had 240 on the ground, 280 through the air. It was not what you wanted to do. It's not the type of game you're able to play with that minimum of a roster. Like I said before in many videos, Colorado is actually pretty strong on the outsides on the perimeter when it comes to their corners and their receivers and this and that. Running back's good. Donovan Edwards from a scat back perspective, he's kind of a smaller guy. And then Shedeur Sanders, I love what Shedeur Sanders does. He's got fantastic footwork, but they just couldn't block him up front. And like I said before, a couple of those axioms. If you can't block the guys up front, it doesn't matter how good the quarterback is. Oregon, 42-0. And again, they said they got up to 35-0 at half. And Doug Lenny wanted to go out and see what they did in the second half. He wanted to put on even more points. And then also, again, like I said before, Colorado, this team the year before was 1-11. It was the worst team they were ever going to have. I mean, the stat line was bad. So I said before, one of the big issues was the defense couldn't get off the field, and you see the time of possession was plus 10 minutes for Oregon. The fact they had 12 penalties for 106 yards. Oregon had 9 for 80, don't get me wrong there. But, again, 1 interception. Again, like I said, the guys on the outside for Colorado, the corners and DBs, and the receivers, they're pretty good. There was an interception there forced on Bo Nix. But, being outrushed by 200 yards, you can definitely tell that as good as Shedeur is and all those guys, Travis Hunter was out. The offensive lines and defensive lines for Colorado versus Oregon, there was a clear mismatch there in that game. So for all of you new fans out here, and again, I want you to stay, okay? If you're not there watching USC this next week, Colorado has USC coming to visit town. I need you to be there. Same thing when they play Arizona State, same thing when they play Stanford, and so on. We need you guys to stay because we love the fact that there's this much juice around the team. Now, they're not quite there yet. We saw that. I talked about it before the game. We knew it was going to happen. Again, some of the newer fans didn't really know. I wasn't talking trash. I was being an analyst. You see the analysis going on there. But going forward, I'm telling you, this team, in the same way that Deion Sanders said it perfectly, he's like, if you guys are going to get me, you're going to get me now because I'm only going to get better from here, and that's totally true. So right here from On 3, it says, you better get me right now because this is the worst we're going to be. And he's absolutely right. He says, Doug Lanning, he's like, you know what, dude, they got us. We absolutely got our butt kicked. It is what it is. But right now, you're thinking about this, what they're doing in recruiting, what they're doing with recruits, this and that, they are going to be an absolute problem. Like I said before, Coach Nick Saban and Deion Sanders are going to be recruiting or competing for recruits. It's already happening. Well, what do you know? Some of the prospects they're looking at recruiting right now. They've already gotten the number 65 player in the country, the number 5 athlete in the country, Aaron Butler. You see the fact that Ryan Wingo, a wide receiver, number 7 player overall in the country. He's warm. He's in the potentially the top 4 or 5. We've got Aiden Breland, a Mater Dei, Santa Ana, California defensive lineman, 6'5", 290, number 6 overall player in the country. We see Jeremiah Beeman, who is a defensive lineman between Colorado and Alabama. He chose Alabama. What do you know? Coach Prime and Nick Saban are competing for recruits. Like I said, they're currently, the recruiting class is a little low right now because they only have like 8 or 9 guys. A couple of those guys are pretty good here. Okay, we've got a, number 30 defensive lineman, number 35 defensive lineman, number 38 defensive lineman. He knows the situation. He's addressed the perimeters for the most part for this team. He needs to get the lines stronger going forward. Now, just because that's the way it is doesn't mean the season can't be magical for many different reasons. Remember, 1-11 last season. This current season that they're in right now, again, 3-1 is a pretty good start. I mean, if you would have told me they were 1-11 last year, Coach Prime comes in and says in their first 4 games they're 3-1, you would have been shocked, absolutely shocked. That being said, of all the years for Coach Prime to come in and make a change, this is one of the best years of the Pac-12 football out there. It is way tougher than the SEC. It's way tougher than the Big Ten. Maybe not necessarily at the top, but the middle for sure is way tougher in the Pac-12. He's got to host USC, number 8. Then he goes at Arizona State. He's got Stanford. Those 2 games, they should be able to handle one of those games. Again, I chose over under 3.5. I chose the over on that because I think they're going to win one of those games. Then they've got at UCLA, tough game. Number 19, Oregon State, tough game. Arizona, who's doing a good turnaround too. And they have at Washington State, a really explosive team, and at number 10, Utah. That's a brutal road. But again, Coach Prime doing what he's doing. Like I said, right now, this is the worst they're ever going to be. But remember here, you got to stick with them throughout this. We love the fact that there's a bunch of new fans there. But remember here, My eyes weren't lying to me when I saw what was going on. Like I said, they'll be fine eventually. They're not going to be a national championship team this season, but they can make a bowl game, which would be shocking if you put it into real context. I encourage all you fans to stay around, okay? All you new fans, you guys who are watching late night, Colorado State in the Rocky Mountain Showdown, I want you guys to stick around because coming up, host USC, at Utah, we got Oregon State, we got UCLA, we got some big games coming up. Washington State's going to be a crazy game. There's a lot of good football to be played. If Colorado makes a bowl game, that is absolutely a win for the team. But we'll see what they can do. Like I said, they got to address some things in the offensive line, but they're already addressing the defensive line. They're going to be great in the recruiting portal. They're going to be just fine. Coach Prime said it best. He said, this is the worst I'm going to be as a coach and as a team. That's totally true. Next season, going to play in the Big 12. Big 12 better watch out because they are still coming. All right, guys, get in the comments right now. Like I said, we knew it was going to happen. Everybody who's played Oregon knows. Oregon put up 81 points on Portland State. We know what they do. But you guys, let me know what you guys think about Coach Prime, the whole thing. Like I'm a little worried about their ability to block. That will be addressed later on. But again, next year, Big 12, we'll see what happens. You guys get in the comments and let me know what you think about this whole situation. But that's it for me, guys. I'll see you guys later. I am out.